indicated there would be zero spillage out into anywhere beyond the lot, actually the blacktop area, so I think that we're in pretty good shape with that. The other item that was requested or discussed last month was the DEC feedback on material safety data sheets. I just consulted quick with Mike on that, and that unfortunately is something that's not available for a material that's really not manufactured yet. So, and I think we also said last month, we discussed the fact that MDF sheets, as they were normally called, are not really called that anymore by the DEC. They're some other term that they use, technical term that they use.
It's not MSD.
Right. And what was it?
Just MSD.
Maybe it's MSD. Yeah, somebody knew it last month. In fact, I thought you did. So, the letter of intent for CM&M, I believe, has been submitted. Jennifer. So the letter of intent for CM&M is in receipt.
I got two different letters. There was.
Well, the next letter explaining all proposed uses was the next item.
Correct.
So there might be
Yep.
both of those.
A couple of those.
The sound specs for the Agramax, information from the sound engineer was submitted as well, from the consultant. So, those are the items that were requested. It looks like really the only open item is really that, the sign package, which we'll have to work that one out and go back to zoning if we so choose to get a variance, which, given the distance from the road and things like that, we may do that. Dave, thanks, I appreciate that. Okay.
Do you know what the, only because I've been asked a couple times, what the height of the parking lot light standards is?
What the height of the lot?
Parking lot light standards is?
On the pole lights?
Yeah.
I could only guess, they're 25 feet at the most. I'd have to go out there and shoot it.
Okay, but it's the same, you're putting them on the same poles that are already there?
Exactly, just
Okay.
new heads.
Okay, just I figured we had to know what it was, or we would have known when we put candles were at the ground, I just didn't actually
Yeah.
see the number.
I could double check the photometric drawing because they would know that.
Okay,
Okay.
I just couldn't, on my computer, it's about this big.
Okay, as I said, just again, trying to be productive and moving forward. We're in receipt of the MRB letter dated February 27th. What Lance had submitted was a 17 points of just questions and items he just wanted to make sure that were being covered. Lance and I did have a phone discussion earlier today about these because some of them had triggered me to ask whether or not he had seen the latest site plan. And he said, yeah, some of these are just even standard items. However, there are some that we do need to address. Obviously, the north arrow, which is on the existing site plan, we didn't put on this, so I have to say my north arrow went south somewhere. But we'll add the north arrow on the plan. That's a simple one. The DOT, notification of DOT to review the application. We'll obviously, we can forward our plans and that to the DOT. They asked for the evaluation of the vehicular turn movements for the trucks. That's not a problem. We'll go ahead and add the geometrics for that. I think they're referring mainly to where we're backing in the trucks here, backing in trucks here. So we'll go ahead and add our turning radiuses to the plans as well. The site plan should clearly identify all proposed green spaces. What we'll do is we'll just enhance our shading a little bit. They are, theoretically in a lighter gray here, but we can enhance that a little bit if it makes it a little bit more readable. Again, I think Lance pointed out that's pretty much like my standard comment.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt. It was just really just to clarify what pavement areas were proposed versus what is existing. I just wanted to have a big picture view as opposed to.
Yeah, I didn't put it in color for you, so. Let's see here, it's understanding that the parcel located to the west of the main entrance off of 5 and 20 is a shared point of access. They're asking for the cross easement. That's up in this area. We just need to talk to Terry about that, if that exists, or Dick Rowe maybe has that cross easement.
It may be. I just, with the plan that was provided, I couldn't tell if there was an easement there or not, so I just wanted to make sure it was.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm assuming there's an easement there.
Just plans you just did, but if it's not.
It's an illegal subdivision.
No, they have access on, they have their own roof frontage on East Avon.
This
Plaza.
this
They're not in-
parcel here, Lance is referring
Comes
to,
in off of, the right of way, or off of,
comes in.
our entrance.
Correct, but
Comes
they
in
have their
off
own road
right?
frontage, so it's not an illegal subdivision.
Yeah, this one,
Well,
hold on, right, they come in right off our entrance, right? Mike?
Correct,
Yeah.
they have their own road.
So what all Lance is saying is that, you know, that there's a shared easement.
we got it, Jennifer, don't relax.
Jennifer, you said.
No, I know,
they have their own-
we have it, they need it.
Yeah,
That's all.
no, you didn't hear
No,
what
they
I was
have,
saying.
I did.
they have their
Oh,
own
right,
road
right, right,
frontage,
right.
so if that ever closed off, they could go out the other way.
Oh, okay, all right. Can't hear too well, this thing blowing.
I got it.
It's the white noise, right? The fire department, should be coordinated with regarding their review. I think they have already taken a look at it, but if we need something in writing, then
We
we can
did,
talk
but
to
we
the fire
sent it again
marshal.
because
Okay.
this is a new application.
New York State building code, and that will address that as we submit plans to the building department, for the new, code enforcement officer. Associated utility companies, coordinate associated utility companies regarding abandonment, removal of existing utilities, proposed new. I had explained to Lance that, you know, when we were asked to put the utilities on the plan, it was extremely difficult to identify. We really didn't have any survey maps to have it done. We were able to obtain an old Sierra Brown map that did indicate it, but there was some inconsistencies in that. He wanted us to just clean that up. This is mainly referring to our note here of abandonment or removal of that little sewage treatment plant that we have to verify that that in fact wasn't done. So I think what that comment points to is just make sure that we, you know, verify that that was taken care of and that there would be, or if there is a tie-in, that needs to be done, but we believe that that was taken care of. Water department, comments from the water department, comments from the highway department to be addressed. Coordination with Livingston County Water and Sewer Authority regarding their review. Again, Jennifer, I assume you're just resending everything back out to all these agencies, or they have been, the information's been sent to them. Utilities, existing utilities should be labeled with materials and size of inverts manhole information. We may in fact have to go out there and get that.
It was more along the lines too of the proposed, because at the time the window said sanitary sewer would be connected,
Yeah,
so.
okay.
I was
That could
kinda-
have, that could, that, actually answer like the majority of these, so.
Obviously, we would like to see the existing information if possible, so that we can determine if there's enough capacity for all that stuff, but at the same time, if there's anything proposed.
Okay.
To identify that.
No problem. The backflow preventer and RBZ application may be required. We have to talk to the water superintendent about that, find out if there's actually one that may be already on file. Construction area, staging area for equipment, storage materials, vehicle parking should be identified. That's something we could do, being the size site it is and almost empty, I was gonna say whatever's gonna be easier for the guys to come in, so.
I just was assuming that maybe some of those other businesses might still be operational during.
Well, they are, but yeah, you know, they're like down here.
Right.
Most, in fact, with the exception of the canopy upgrade and the facade upgrade, everything is pretty much gonna be done inside the building. So, but we'll give you that, that's an easy thing to take care of. And, the new site and building lighting proposed as part of the project, we talked about that, that's been submitted, the photometrics have been submitted, catalog cuts have been submitted. And last but not least, the lighting is to be dark sky compliant, which is identified in the cut sheet, so. So those are the items, that were brought up by, MRB, I'll make sure that there wasn't anything on the last page. We'll take care of those few items I mentioned are, outstanding, but other than that, not much has really changed, not anything has really changed from the last time we met, so.
The lighting was.
So I'll open up for questions or comments.
Just quick, Joe, it's really outside of the realm of site plan review for us, really, just out of curiosity. Liquid nitrogen
Yeah.
is gonna be part of the process. There's no storage outside, or is there any, do you know what the plans are?
There are, professor over there, Mike Valle.
Method of storage,
They were,
quantities, any, do we have any information on that?
About 200
Inside the building, Michael, or
No,
outside? Outside?
Yeah.
So what,
That would be, probably important to show on the site plan.
okay.
Liquid nitrogen.
Has to be stored outside? I was gonna say, that's gotta be a good sized tank, or don't know where it's on the map. So,
He said 200 gallons.
right.
About the size of the lights out in the basement.
One person thinking that the craft plant has upwards of 1,000.
I don't know. Not sure. Of course, we wanna see how that's stored outside, what kind of barriers are around it, protection and so forth.
And I will bring it up, if it needs to be put on a site plan, you wanna see it, and I can't go any farther than that tonight to say what are the requirements or anything of that nature, but we'll have to review it and just make sure it's covered.
Okay.
One of the things I remember seeing in an email from Mike to Heather Ferrero was the addition of 12 new pine trees as barrier. Is that on the plan? Because I think the plan also had a note that there was no change in
Oh,
landscaping.
you know, good catch there. We did, we listed them along the south side of the property, just as, right here. Additional pine trees located, I think we sprinkled some along here and some along here. The intent wasn't to do any screening, I think it was Mike's intent to just more aesthetic for the site. Because it-
South and west.
South and west, a total of approximately 15 of them, right, 15 you said?
Yeah, it's turned into a scrub area back there.
Yeah, so we just wanted to clean it
We
up.
wanna clean it out. I do have one comment I want on the nitrogen. I might want to defer until I get more feedback from Pico Precision, because we're developing a prototype now. You guys understand, we're doing new technology.
Yeah, I do, yeah. And like I say, I only bring it up relative to, the site plan review, and if it's something we gotta look at. The seeker process should address, some of the issues, if there is any, with it as well.
Scott Shealy, from PDC,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's helping me with regulatory, if anything.
Okay,
So
good.
that'll be along soon.
Yeah,
Ironically, I got an email from Scott Fody, who's our material management engineer, and works directly with Kathleen Bradford and Albany. And he connected with me today, and we're a little late. We had hoped to have had our bud application reviewed by this time. But he's assured me that they're gonna move things along. So it should be complete before the end of this month, or we should have it maybe by even mid-month, along with a determination from Scott as well, which will help us with Pico Precision, because we're all part and part to trying to figure out what square peg goes into what round hole.
right. So you have a bud use determination as part of the.
Yeah, we're seeking a bud determination, because we think that it's necessary for credibility, especially given the fact that we are introducing new technology.
Yeah, so the bud determination is for the end product.
The whole process.
The whole process.
Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle. The end product is already, well, part of it anyway, has been, tested and received the ESTM standard, the natural stone side. But this process of combining the mix recycled materials is under all of this, but determination and testing.
Wanna go back to that?
Yes.
The nitrogen tank. Well, I guess I'll just dive into the whole secret thing, since this is gonna lead right into that. When we sent this new stuff to Lance, the new site plan and all the information about this, one of the things that he did was go on the DEC website and look at the seeker. And DEC, since they changed this stuff last year, has a lot of these tools on the website. When you start plugging these things in, looking at the maps, it will bring up things like wetlands, archaeological sites, things like that. One of the things that came up when he did it was the proximity to the East Avon Presbyterian Church, which is an historic site. There also was, I think it must be a fairly old map that actually showed a creek running right smack through the middle of the parking lot, which obviously is no longer there or was redirected somehow. Those things came up and took it from an unclassified seeker action to a type 1 seeker action, which requires a coordinated review. We thankfully, Lance figured this out before they went to ZBA last week for their informal discussion with ZBA. One of the things that came out of ZBA was a resolution referring the matter back to planning for not only a recommendation on the special use permit and stuff in that, but also suggesting that the planning board was the most, probably a logical agency to take the lead agency for purposes of the coordinated review. So part of the coordinated review process, somebody becomes a lead agency. There's a whole bunch of other agencies involved, DEC, DOT, county planning, zoning board of appeals, a whole bunch of interested and involved agencies. Should the board decide that they want to make a resolution tonight declaring the board as lead agency, what then happens is that all this material, the site plan, all this information is packaged and then sent out to all these interested and involved agencies with our letter declaring that that's what we're going to do. And then there starts a 30-day time period for these other agencies, correct me if I get any of this wrong, to come back and say whether they, basically challenge and maybe they would prefer to be lead agency for some reason, or whether they accept it or comment. What I think we figured out so far was that if we take everything that we have now and set it up by the end of the week, our 30 days would be up April 6th, which would be the day before our planning board meeting next month. Now, nothing else can happen during that 30-day period. They can't go on and have any other decisions made at zoning board of appeals or any of those other things because this has to take place before anything else is done. If that all happened and everything came back and nobody objected, then we could start seeker at our meeting next month. But one of the things is that we have to package all this stuff up this week. With that in mind, one of the first things I want to say is the nitrogen thing. Obviously, that's something that's going to come up in seeker. So we would need that. We would need to determine where that nitrogen is going to be stored and in what quantities, and that would have to be on the plans so that we could send them out if the board decided to take lead agency. They would have to go out the end of the week. So that's something that we would need on the plan. That's not something we can defer. And Mike's giving me this look.
Yeah.
So, is that something that we are going to be able to?
I don't know if that can happen.
Because that's something that's needed, otherwise it would push things farther back, time-wise. So, that's a question.
Do you have any objections to just putting it on the plan? Just put 200 gallons on it?
No, as long as there's no objections to moving it based on what we concur with PICO.
No,
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
based on design, if we could say, let's put it here for the sake of putting it someplace on the plan, which I thought the safest place to put it, where we would be able to more or less barricade it and protect it, as an outside stored fuel or what have you.
Right.
Even though the MPS or MSDS report show that it is okay.
Right.
We would take that into consideration with recommendations from the DEC as to how we would store it, of course.
Correct.
We would have to, because it's under, that would be regulatory.
Right.
But I thought that upfront area, which was fenced in, and that indentation in the very west corner of the,
Oh, I see, yeah.
it has fencing there now, and, with proper fencing around a 200-gallon tank, or even more, like a screen fence, like a chain link fence with the, whatever, the screening stuff that goes in between it to sort of close it off so it's like out of sight,
That's not-
at least visually.
That's not a problem with the turn.
No, actually, because the turn doesn't turn there. Well, if regular traffic wanted to turn, that's one thing.
What I would propose on a plan is bollards is in addition to the fence.
What is that?
I said I would propose bollards and some bollards
Right.
there.
Yes, yeah, because it does look like you've got
It could,
traffic.
you never know.
The regulatory agency probably would require the bollards to be protected.
Right, right.